Can I have a Jamie Bellywack to come up and lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the invocation, please, Lucy?
Sure. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks to you tonight for all the young people who have been part of the Mayor's Walk of Achievement. We ask for a special blessing for all our high school youth as they continue their journey and pursue their dreams. We are thankful that we're able to be part of their new beginning. Thank you for our City Council who supports our youth, and we thank you for the teachers and staff who have helped these young adults excel in their education and receive their diplomas. We thank you for the families and especially for the parents of these children who have made their education a priority and have been committed and supportive of their kids. The parents, the youth, and our community should be very proud of their accomplishments, for these young people are truly the leaders of tomorrow. We ask that you keep the City Council as they conduct the business of the city and that you guide them so that everything is done according to your will. Thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed upon us in the past and continue your watchful care over us in the future. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Heckerman?
Here.
Councilmember Farfan?
Here.
Councilmember Gomez?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Schultz? Here. Mayor Canada?
Here.
You have a quorum.
This morning, this evening, we have presentations and proclamations. The first presentation will be to certificates to the scholarship winners of the Mayor's Youth Walk of Achievement. I want to welcome the parents and students of the winners of the Mayor's Walk of Achievement. This program was started in 1994 by my husband, who was a council member. At that time, there were very few applicants. As the years have come by, we have received more and more applicants, which is a great thing because I know that a lot of families achieve to have their children continue college. And a lot of the children here in the city are very academically inclined. So I would like to see some of our recipients come back and let us know how their career has turned out and what they have achieved in their life. So thank you and congratulations. I want to introduce Olympia Chen from the ABC School Board. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, we're here to congratulate all the scholarship recipients of the Hawaiian Gardens Walk of Achievement Scholarship. And we're first going to go over the academic. Once again, may I ask Jamie Bolywog to come up. Jamie is actually our top recipient within the category of academics. She will be receiving a scholarship for $3,500.
Caballero is helping us from Friends Office.
And from Tony Mendoza's office, we have Larry Caballero here that's going to be actually giving each and every recipient a wonderful certificate. Thank you. Okay, let me kind of give you... We wanted to provide you some type of background for Jamie. As you all know, Jamie is currently a student at Artesia High School. She's enrolled in many AP classes as well as honor courses. While at Artesia, she has maintained an average grade point average of 4.0, and this has basically entitled her to the highest honors at Artesia. In addition to that, she has maintained membership in the United States and Southern California Chess Federation, and she has volunteered at the high school library. So her plans after Artesia is to attend Harvard University, and with this scholarship, we hope to make that dream come true. All right, congratulations. The second highest recipient in the field of academics is Andrew Park from Whitney High School, and his scholarship amount is $2,500. The next recipient is Jenny King, and she is also from Whitney High School, and the amount should be rewarded is $1,500. Our next recipient is Alejandro Soto from Whitney, and the scholarship amount is $1,500. Okay. Congratulations. I failed to mention that each of the recipients will also be receiving proclamations from Don Canabi's office. Okay. The next recipient is Marlene Troncosco from Artesia, and the amount is $1,000. Our next recipient is Juan Acosta from Los Alamitos High School, and the amount of $1,000. The next recipient is Julio Gonzalez from Whitney, and the amount $500. And our last recipient, Yisong H. Kim from Artesia, in the amount of $500. Once again, I'd just like to congratulate all the academic award recipients. You guys have done an excellent work, and I'm sure you guys have worked really hard for all this, so congratulations.
Okay, good evening. I'm going to introduce the winners from the athletic and civic winners. Starting with the athletic department, and let me first say again, as I said outside earlier in the day when we unveiled the plaque that the top three winners had their names placed on, just so everybody who maybe weren't here to know, we have what we call Walk of Achievement out on Carson Street, and every year we have this scholarship program. And the top three winners get their name put on a bronze plaque, and it's placed in the sidewalk there on Carson Street. Today's plaque was placed right in front of the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So if you want to go by there, it's been since 1994 it started, so every year's winners are placed there, and they'll be there, hopefully forever. So, and it's really good to recognize our young people for their hard efforts. Okay, the top winner in the athletic department will be Gerardo Macias. And his winnings is $3,500. Just a little background on why he was chosen. He's a student at Artesia High School. He's participated in the soccer, golf, and cross country. His accomplishments in soccer include a Rookie of the Year award, Most Valuable Player award. He's also been picked for All-Star team. And outside of athletics, he's also passed the Advanced Placement Honors courses. It would still allow, and still, he has time to volunteer work with toy drives with the Hermanos Unidos, the UCLA group. And he also is active in the Mecha and the Senior Class Club at Artesia High School. So he's going to continue his education and his sports career at Cerritos College. So congratulations. I'd also, maybe I should have okayed this with our city attorney and city administrator before I say this, but I noticed he's a member of the golf club. Was a member of the golf club. The city has golf tournament for Don Schultz Memorial Golf Tournament every year. And our tournament will be next month, and I'd like to invite him to come as my guest and playing partner, if he's able to, and if it's okay. Our next winner in the athletic field will be Monica Rodriguez. Monica is also an Artesia High School student, and she's winning $2,500. Okay, in our civic category, the top winner is Leo Martinez. Leo is a student at Whitney High School, and he will be receiving $3,500. A little background on Mr. Martinez. He's a Whitney High School student, and he's participated in many civic activities. He's the president of our Orgullo Latino Club at Whitney High, and as part of the club, he has volunteered for after-school tutoring at both Ferguson Elementary and in our center right here, C. Robert Lee Center. He's also volunteered with the Boys and Girls Club here in the center, and while at Whitney, he has been an NSO counselor, a high school ambassador, and he's also a member of the cross-country league champions. And with this scholarship, he will be attending Cal State Long Beach. Congratulations. Okay, our next winner in the civic category will be Rosario Torres. She's a student at Artesia High School, and she will be receiving $2,500. You want to mention the chief part of your...
Yeah, Rosario is also a young legislator for Assemblymember Tony Mendoza, and we're so proud that we had her on board. She's going to be going to Sacramento in July, I think July 24th, to be on the Assembly floor, to meet the Speaker of the Assembly, Karen Bass, to actually be a part of a mock Assembly session, so it's going to be very exciting. That's going to happen in July.
Okay, our next recipient is Griselda de la Rosa. She's also an Artesia High student and will be receiving $1,500.
Another young legislator from Assemblymember Tony Mendoza's office. She also will be, hopefully, going to Sacramento in July.
Our next winner is Leonel Aguilar, an Artesia High School student who is receiving $1,000. And finally, but of course not least, is our Stephanie Lopez, another Artesia High School student, and she will be receiving $500. Go ahead.
Our third young legislator who will be going to Sacramento in July with Assemblymember Tony Mendoza. Yay!
So as you can see, we have very talented and educated students, residents of our city who, you know, we are very proud of, and let's give them all a big hand. I haven't told out the figures, but I think the total amount given out today is $30,000. So, well earned. I think we're going to take a few pictures, and then are we going to take a break? Is that what it is? Yeah, we're going to take a few pictures with them. Then we're going to take a break out in the lobby, have some cake and ice cream, so we can all congratulate them personally. Okay? Thank you.
We have. I don't think we've got any cake. You guys come here, kind of stuff. Tell them no cake first.
Really little pieces. No, I think they had big ones, 2 big ones.
Actually, we'll probably have to do this. Okay. You three come on the next step. I'm sorry, you two as well. Somewhere at the other second step. Okay. Now you guys get a little bit closer. All right. You guys want to get this together? I'll take a look. Okay. So look over here for a second. Please. Smile. More. One more. Okay. Okay, now for you guys. I'm sorry, let me have you down here. Oh, you could have just usually nobody did. Huh? Just put it up here. Stay there, please. Gallery.
No. Really bad. Or really lucky if you
Okay. And that's it. Pretty good.
We're going to recess to have cake and ice cream. We convene Call the meeting back to order. Oral communications items on and not on the agenda. This is a time reserved for members of the audience wishing to speak on items on and not on the agenda. This period will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Maximum time allocated is 15 minutes.
Okay, first of all, congratulations to the students who won today's scholarships. And hi, my name is Teresa Navarro, and I'm here on behalf of my family, my neighbors, and my city. The people are saying enough is enough. We are tired of being harassed by the police and using Deputy Ortiz as a scapegoat. The authorities have the criminals in custody already. Why must they treat the rest of the residents like criminals in our own city? I'm not against the gang injunction, but I believe it needs to be edited. A few months ago, the Second District Court of Appeal in the city of Oxnard ruled that the overnight curfew of the gang injunction was unconstitutionally vague. Without the curfew, the 150 to 200 served with the injunction now can walk out their door, walk around the block, or go to the grocery store without the fear of being arrested because they're out past 10. Basically, what it is we want is just our justice. We want freedom, and we're not criminals. And the question now is, what are you as leaders going to do about it? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lydia Olives, and the situation that happened with my family members was they were told they were going to be framed. They were told if they didn't take responsibility for a gun that one of the officers had, that they would go throw them in Artesia. Another family was taken and thrown in Artesia, and they're just, harassing the kids, beating them up. It's okay if they do their job, but they're abusing the kids, and it's not okay. What are you, the city, going to do about it?
I'm here because we need protection. The city has to protect us, good citizens, and our children, good citizens. Please help us.
Good evening. My name is Celia Manso, and I've been living in Hawaiian Gardens for 35 years. And my kids, I have 5 kids. Every time they come out of the house, they get arrested, they search them, and I'm just tired. They give them a ticket, they take them in, and every time it's not only affecting my family, it's affecting me because I have to leave work to take my kids to court, and this is what I get. They don't find their names on the computer, nothing. 3 times already. And I have the proofs right here. And I'm just tired of that. Friday, my son, who was inside the house, he comes out of the front yard, right away, boom, 3 police officers, search him. And I come out, I said, what are you guys doing? He was inside the house. Nothing, we're just doing our work, this and that. And okay, I bring him in. 5 minutes later, let him come in. I bring him inside the house. He's standing on the gate, just looking outside. Here comes another police officer, gets out of the car. What are you guys doing? And he goes, well, we're just searching him. Come on, that police officer just searched my kid. I know they're doing their job, but like the lady was saying, you guys already have the kids you guys wanted. I'm just tired of this. It's affecting my family and what you guys are going to do about it.
Hello, my name is Oscar Garcia, and I've been a resident here ever since I was a little boy. I've witnessed multiple amounts of injustice, much more as I get older, and it just needs to stop. I can't walk down the street without being harassed by a police officer or an authority figure at all. I'm not the one carrying a gun. I'm getting a ticket for riding my bicycle without a helmet, while there's people being shot. Friends of mine that I know are being shot. Innocent people are being killed. It's ridiculous. I want to know what you as a city want to do about it.
Hi, my name
name's Terrell, and I'm from the Way Out Ministries. I've lived in Hawaiian Gardens for 25 years, almost 24. And I just want to real quickly just I know a lot of people are afraid to stand up or it's hard for them to speak. So I'd like everyone that came here regarding the gang injunction, please stand so they'll know who we're all of. Okay, just stay standing for a second. The reason we're here is I've been asked by police officers, are you for allowing crime to continue in your city? I wouldn't be here doing what I do if I agreed with crime to be in my community. I've been helping people in this community, but when I continue to see people that are not part of the problem being harassed and bothered, I get calls almost daily that my kid was handcuffed and thrown in a car. Can they do that? Did they take him in? Was there a charge? No. And I had a meeting one day at the Way Out. It wasn't a secret. I had a meeting so people would know their rights. Most of the community do not know what their rights are. They think if an officer tells them that they have to do, they do it. And that is not true, and I think we need to let our community know. We thank you for wanting to stop the crime and the gangs in the community, but this is just causing more pain, and you have a very angry community. We are the community, and we're speaking that we want to know what the city council is going to do about this. And we are asking that we actually see evidence that you're doing something about it, and do not just back the police department. The thing that has angered me more than anything, I live in the community, like I said, on 224th. I follow police cars around. I do. And when I see, or I get calls, they have 4 kids over on this street. I park and I watch. I have heard them cussing out my children. And I call them my kids because I live here. This is my city. These kids are mine. And they are being cussed at, degraded. I went up to one, I said, that child is not a gang member. He said, I don't care, he will be. And I looked at him, I said, you just ruined 10 years of work on my part with one comment. These guys are not all going to be gang members. This city has, you saw these kids that have awards tonight. You know, I raised my kids here. They've turned out amazing. There is good things coming out of Hawaiian Gardens. Please help us with the police problem. Thank you.
My name is Cora Cabrera. I've lived in Hawaiian Gardens since 1952. And I'm very involved in the church, St. Peter Chanel. I'm an apostolate. And we know that we've had the Virgin going from street to street, holding there for a week. And we've done this since '84. And it seemed like things settled down when we did this. I wanted to share with you a family on Horse Street that was taken by mistake. And it was very sad. They had a boy about 6 years old, and he would run to me, but he wouldn't speak. And I told the mother, you know, that's very strange for a boy his age not to be talking. And she says, you know, he saw his father being beaten up, and that's why he's in a drama. And it was very sad. He'd come to me, hug me, whenever he saw me coming every day to his house to pray the rosary. I didn't know what the problem was, like I said, until she told me, and I told her, well, you need to do something about this. Go get some legal advice. And she hesitated to do this because she was scared. Scared because maybe something the neighbors, you know, only she knew, but she wouldn't share it. But it was very sad for the little boy. Can you imagine? You have a 5-6-year-old little boy at home to see his father beaten up by the policemen or wherever they were that came. They're doing their job, yes, but make sure you hit the right house. Okay? We don't need any more of this. I was in the committee to incorporate Hawaiian Gardens in 1964, and we're very proud, and we thought it was going to be a very good idea to be incorporated. And you people need to work with us, all of us. Please help us, so our community can be better, and we can be proud of it for our children that are growing. Okay? Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Cuauhtemoc Vega. I've been living in this neighborhood all my life since the day I was born. I'm 48 years old. I spent half of my life in prison. But you know what? All my kids and my nephews are 3.5, 4.0 students. All we need is some cop taking them in for something stupid and screw up their whole career, their whole education, what they want to do. Now, if I spent most of my life in prison and I got kids like this, then I'm doing a damn good job. I don't need cops ruin it for them. I fucked up mine. Don't let them ruin theirs.
I need to share something else. This Friday, my son was in Norwalk Boulevard. He was driving his car. His tire popped. Okay, he pulls over on his side. There comes a police officer, her car. He pulls over. Instead of saying, you need help? What's your name? He gave him the name. Ran his name. Oh, you're in the gang injection, this and that. I could take you in and arrest you. He goes, why are you going to take me in? What am I doing? Just because I stopped and pulled over to change a tire? Then another police officer comes. It was a lady. And I'm saying this because this lady reminded me. My son said, oh, your partner. She's very cute, very handsome police officer. And they started telling him a lot of bad words. Just for him, for saying that? Instead of the police officer saying, do you need help? No, I'm going to take you in for no reason. That's what we're trying to say. We need help. The same way you guys need help, we need help too.
Hello, I'm Pastor Barry Bruce from the Way Out Ministries, and I'm not as gutsy as my wife. I'm not going to follow police officers around, but I was in the Way Out Ministries one day, and we have a big window in the front, and I was appalled to see a man who I see ride by on a bike every morning to the car wash where he works. And I know that's what he does because I've seen him there before, and every morning drives his bike. And I saw him driving his bike again, and a police car pulled up, cut him off. He had to slam his brakes on, almost flew off of his bike. The police officer got out of the car, threw the bike down, took the guy, harassed him. I couldn't hear what was going on. The police officer didn't know I was watching. I was standing there. I was like, what could possibly be the deal here? And put him in the back seat of the car, held him for a long time, then said something to him. The guy got on his bike and drove to the car wash. I'm like, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. And I have heard story after story after story of people who are law-abiding citizens, and I know them, and they're law-abiding citizens. They get pulled over, and the police officer says, get the F out of the car. For what, a taillight? I got to get the F out of the car? Why are you talking to me like I'm some sort of filth, some piece of trash? Why are the officers in our community acting like this? We are not killers. We are not the people that killed Officer Ortiz. That guy's in jail, at last I heard, okay? Why are we being treated like this? We are citizens in a community, and we want law enforcement. You know, kids are saying, our ministry used to make cupcakes for the police officers and take them over, and the kids would be all excited to make their cupcakes and take them over there, and it was their community service project to the police department. Kids go, we don't want to do that. We don't like the police officers. They're mean. And you know what? You are mean. And you know what? You may think that you're scaring the hell out of gangsters, but you're scaring the hell out of good citizens too. And that is wrong. You're abusing your authority. So please, what is the city council going to do about it?
Yeah, do we get an answer from you guys? What are you guys going to do about it?
Excuse me. Hi, my name is Olga Duran. I live at 22028 Sain Street, and I was going to mention what this gentleman mentioned. Ever since the Officer Ortiz, and this is my own personal comment, the officers have been different to the residents of Hawaiian Gardens. I understand, and my condolences to his family, and and we feel bad, but like I said, that was one person that did that, not the whole community. And two wrongs don't make a right. By them acting the way they're acting, people are being afraid of them. And we shouldn't be afraid of our officers because they're here to protect us. I'm sure all of us are going to need them one day. And it's nothing against them. It's just the treatment they give. My son's 16 years old, and his father gave him a brand new bike almost 6 months ago. He's been able to ride it twice. And both the times that he rode it, he was pulled over and they wanted to know where he got a bike like that. I mean, just because it's an expensive bike, we can't afford it. And he hasn't been in jail yet, but I'm afraid that he's going to get picked up, taken in, and all of a sudden he has a record. And that's not fair.
My name is Julio Marquez. I've been a victim of harassment by police officers right in front of my house, just regular day, just standing out there talking to my neighbors. It was my neighbor in the back, my neighbor on the side, just right there talking, family members, my dad's washing the car, my mom's throwing trash away, and out of nowhere, police officers just show up, put us against the car, handcuff us, put us in the back of the car. For what reason? For no reason, for just standing out in front of your house? Well, what's that all about? So it hasn't been 1 year that I don't get pulled over. Walking to the bus stop, going to work, in my work uniform, still get pulled over, get thrown in the car, handcuffed once again, and just held me for more than half an hour. I was late to work. What do I get out of that? Nothing.
You could have lost your job.
I could have lost my job. This happened in 1 year. This just happened not a couple months ago, when I was standing outside my house, in front of my wife too. I mean, I have a newborn coming up. You know, you think I want to stay here in this neighborhood with all this harassment? I don't want to raise my kid here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Bruce, and I'm Barry and Terrell's daughter. And I teach a 4 to 8 year old after-school program group for my kids. And also my brother, my older brother, he teaches 9 to, I think it's 11 or 12. And he has a 12-year-old boy in his group who was served with the gang injunction. And this little boy goes to Bible studies, my brother's after-school programs, he's there. He's a good kid. He's a really good kid. And when we were talking about what we're going to do to help them out, this gang injunction and the harassment, he said, yeah, can you do something? I just want to ride my bike again. How sad is that? A good little kid. He's 12 years old. He can't even ride his bike. What's wrong there? There's something wrong. That's all I have to say.
Ronaldo Rodriguez, 21402 Juan Avenue. Mayor, members of the City Council, looks like you have a lot of work to do. But on the agenda, I was reading there, and if you read the agenda, they are paying Hoggle Ireland $41,888 to continue on the urban trail. I thought that the urban trail was more or less canceled. Why are we continuing spending so much money on that? Also, on resolution 2008-017, you are to approve today's meeting the $179,472 of free money to El Tigre Market, and the owner to pay $44,868. It seems to me like we're really spending a lot of money out there on business that the owners don't even live in the city. At the same time, our development agency uses its power in giving citations, raising, increasing the permits, and also abusing some of our residents still on installation of canopies, not having store-bought garden furniture in front of their homes. I mean, what are we supposed to do there. Also, it just seems like when the residents try to get a grant to upgrade their home, the development agency finds so many code problems that the owners, they just withdraw the request because of those problems that the agency brings up. And I wonder what happens to the money that is not used at the end of the year. If one of you or somebody could tell me how many actual grants were given to the residents in the city of Hawaiian Gardens, I'm not talking about the trailers, I'm not talking about the condominiums, or I'm not talking about the businesses. And you also now want to approve Resolution 0572008 to award a contract to the AmeriNational Community Escrow Services for these house and rehabs programs. I don't see why we even need that since the majority of the people withdraw from those contracts or any contract. They try to borrow money and they like I said, they have so many, they point out so many code violations that they just withdraw. I don't know why we would need that if we're not even using it. Also, and like I said, most of the owners that we're spending money on here don't even live in the city. They're not the ones that voted you in. The citizens, the residents here voted you in. So you're giving so much. You're giving so much emphasis on spending money on businesses. $750,000 a year for the next 5 years. What are you doing for our citizens? Are you helping them? Also, on these approvals of this business rehabs where we're giving them 80% of the cost, I hope that no staff member or member of a government owns property that some of these programs are put into. So it looks like you have a lot of work to do for the community, and I hope that being that we have elections coming up, not very soon, but soon enough, I think you ought to start considering our residents. Thank you.
I just want to thank the little few police that we have that are doing their job correctly. We just want to praise them for being good role models. That's what we need for our kids. And two gangs don't work. Trying to stop the gang here and them being their gang is not going to work. I know you guys have a so-called mediator cop here working here. You guys need to, just a suggestion is maybe you guys need to hire somebody here that is not going to fear them to be a mediator between the people and the police so this can get resolved so we can work with them. They need to work with this. They're not working with this, and we need you guys to work with this also.
Hey, just one more thing on spending money. I just want to know why you guys spend so much money on golf tournaments when 90% of the people here are Hispanics.
And when we have 90% of Hispanics, why can't we get a bilingual interpreter for our meeting?
That's right.
All the money you guys are expending.
Can you guys come up to the podium if you're going
All the money, I just heard about all the money you guys are going to spend on El Tigre. Why don't you guys gather that money and make something? If you think there's a lot of cholos in Hawaiian Gardens, make something for them. They like to draw. If you guys have leeway, they go play over there, and right away, there's the police. You guys got to have to go home because blah, 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 I'm going to arrest you and take you in. Now, what kind of sport could they do? They don't have nothing. And that's why we're here, to protect them. And we're asking for help, and we want answers.
Yeah.
just want to add, don't pull me over for the contents of my image or anybody else's image, but for committing a crime.
Please don't pull me over when the meeting's over and I'm going home.
One more thing. I want a copy of one of the agendas they had out there, and someone told me I had to pay $50 for a copy of the agenda. I don't have $50. Is there any other way that I can get a copy of the agenda that sits out in the lobby, the thick one? Because $50, I'm sure that you guys can take it from the golf tournament money or all this other expenditure that you guys have, if possible.
Madam Mayor and council members, I'm Jim Muse at 12449, 12451, 12453, East Carson. I know that we've already exceeded the 15-minute allocation for speakers, but I'll make this really brief. On the resolution number 055, where the city is thinking about levying an assessment. Does that, who does that affect? Everybody in the city? Or is this just a housekeeping thing that we do annually for payment?
Mr. Muse, I'm sure we're going to cover that information during the staff report. All
right. And the last thing I want to, last year we had on resolution number 058. Last year we had some problems with fire stands going up after normal hours and being tore down after hours. Has that been taken care of? I myself witnessed 2 stands going up at 9 and 10 o'clock at night at the Elks Club because I happen to live next door to them. And at the same time, they were taking them down 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I was just wondering if that's been built into the application process this year. So I'll just wait to hear on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
One
We'll
more thing,
continue.
Mayor, if you don't mind. We want to know what happened today by Popeye's Chicken, why the kids weren't allowed to go on the bus to Tracy High School, why were they pulled over by the parking lot area and harassed, and they missed a day of class? If you can answer that.
Okay, we'll continue to the budget item. Is that what I want? Yeah. Presentation of the capital improvement plan, CIP, in consideration to adopt resolution number 051-2008 to approve the 2008-2009 7-year capital improvement plan. Staff report, please.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, we're going to present this staff report in 2 phases. I'll give an introduction to it, and then I'll turn it over to the city engineer who can go into the details of the actual project and the actual numbers that were put together. But basically, as we reach another milestone with this capital improvement program, it is the first for the city to have one. Reason being is because we didn't have much money back in those days, and now that we have a car club, you've got the revenue coming in, and you are allocating a substantial amount of resources towards the capital improvement programs. And in order to qualify for in order to be able to use the gas tax monies towards certain capital improvement projects, as well as Measure C, they really want to see how those are obligated. So it is important to have some type of balanced approach. or basically a capital improvement program. Another reason, again, back then, it wasn't really necessary when you were just doing 1 or 2 projects a year or every other year. You didn't have much money. In fact, the money that we have allocated now towards capital improvement program was probably the entire amount of the entire general fund back in those days. So it just helps better organize and prioritize, if you will, the projects. Also, third reason is that you got a capital improvement element in your general plan, and the reason for that is that you want to have, you want to be able to balance that infrastructure, make sure you have the appropriate amount of infrastructure for the maximum build-out capacity, and that's what this document does. Now, we did take this document to the Planning Commission. For more than one reason, the mayor's directed us to get the commission more involved, and this is something that's occurring in the Community Development Department, as well as the Planning Commission's required to make a finding that the capital improvement program is consistent with the general plan. We're kind of in limbo there because you have a current general plan of 1994, and then you have a new general plan, so it's kind of in between. So there's a mix of products, but for the most part, they did make that finding, but they had some minor concerns, and I'll just reiterate more or less what we've written in the staff report. Basically, they had a concern regarding 215th Street and Elaine. They want some type of traffic analysis done there to address the traffic problem there around the church area and the school area, especially when there's funerals in that area. So they wanted to look at that at some point in time. They also had recommended that the products be rated or prioritized and have some type of ranking system, and that we do products that actually bring in revenue. That's pretty much it, if I could summarize it that way. But for the most part, they are recommending approval. And I'm going to have the city engineer go over the couple slides that he has in his PowerPoint, and you have a copy of that same PowerPoint presentation in your agenda packets. And this is a document that is not set in stone. It could change at any time. You could change it during the mid-year. So it's just a policy document, and it's something that we do along with the budget process, because it's such a major component of the budget. That it is important that it gets done at the same time. I understand that the budget's going to be delayed to the next council meeting, but we see no reason why we can still present the capital component part of it, since it is a big part of the budget. So, Richard.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I do have a couple answers from the questions from the audience today. If you look at the first slide up here, and it's the first Excel spreadsheet, that's colored spreadsheet, it does show the 6 categories of improvement projects in the city that we have. We have parks, they're broken into parks, public facilities, safe routes to schools, street projects, utilities, and city beautification projects. Along the bottom is the city beautification projects. That's the expenditure of redevelopment agency funds. And there's $1.45 million worth of city beautification, $200 in the residential, $500,000 in the commercial rehab program, and $750,000 in the downtown facade project. And that is intended to beautify the downtown and increase sales revenue, which benefits the city. The other big project is the Fedde Middle School project. We don't have all of the funding that we think we need on the project, but there was a 2006 bond measure, and we've received grants of $2.5 million, and $950,000 of general fund was allocated for the Fedde Middle School project this year. So we have $5.45 million this year, and in the next succeeding 2 years, we've $950,000, $350,000 towards that project, and that's in the environmental stage, with ABC School District leading the call there. The yellow sections of the projects are projects that are identified, and they're highlighted in yellow. They lack funding at this time, and but they're just identified, but no funds are available for the projects. So we've just got them out there as desired projects, but unfunded. And then, Joe, the second slide. For the 08-09 7-year capital improvement project, we have the next page slide, and it identifies the funding sources for the Fedde Middle School complex, for example. $950 is general fund, and the rest is the tax bonds from 2006, a bond sale, and $2.5 million in grants. There are several other projects there that I could discuss if any of you have any questions.
Bottom line, this is basically just a wish list based on direction that's been given to staff from prior council and this current council especially, and more or less we're following the general plan. And like I said, it can change from time to time. Not this entire plan. There isn't funding for the entire amount. There's about $57 million worth of projects, but there's about $33 million that a funding source has not been identified, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to identify and be able to obtain grants. But we're doing, the best we can with the resources we have.
I think, Joe, also this shows that the Urban Trail project isn't even listed on any of this here.
Yeah,
so
if I could just
way out.
Since it's kind of related to the CIP, the Urban Trail project has been eliminated by the City Council. If there is an invoice or staggering invoice in the pipeline, it's because work has been done, and you have several sub-consultants, and they're going to bill for that work that was previously done. So the Urban Trail has been canceled, and there is no additional work being done on that project, but you may have some, lingering invoices in the pipeline.
I think that's what it is that we had the invoices on the work that had been done up to that point.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right, we just processed that $40,000 invoice. It was something from the past.
Let me ask, we have $100,000 being allocated per year on storm drain and, sorry. We have $100,000 allocated every year on storm drains and sewer system. These are for, I know this is for putting aside money to make repairs.
It's a contingency
Are
account.
there things that have already been identified that need to be done, or are we just putting money aside to be prepared for when something
At the present
arises?
time, it's just more of a contingency fund, but we do have a study that's being done regarding the storm drain and the lighting, and we are anticipated that several repairs or upgrades will need to be done, and that's why we're starting this contingency account.
Okay.
So we already have heads up from the consultants that there's going to be some additional improvements that are needed and ongoing maintenance.
I'd like to add that on the sewer system, the state is mandating no sanitary sewer overflows because of the beach pollution issue, because any overflow goes down through the storm drain system and pollutes the ocean. So the state is cracking down on the cities and requiring a sewer system management plan. And by 09, the next phase in the master plan is that we have to identify any deficiencies or maintenance areas in the sewer system, and we have to have a plan of attack on how to plan for the correction of those maintenance facilities. To that end, the county maintains our sewers presently through tax monies, property tax monies, and they are televising all of the sewers this year, and we will get an assessment of what condition the sewer's in. So I'm trying to put aside some money showing good faith to the state that we are trying to do our due diligence.
If memory serves me right, the final outcome of that is that the state is going to mandate zero tolerance as far as any extra things going into the drain. We're not going to have to put catch basins or something in there to catch it before it gets into the sewer system.
Yes,
farther down.
And the state is also mandating, and it's kind of an unfunded mandate here too, all of the catch basins in the city that collect rainwater with water going through our gutter, our curb openings, are going to have to be filtered, and that means a filter change every year. And so the cities are getting together to try and figure out how we can get legislation to fund that annual changing of the filters and installing the actual filter systems.
Just for the edification of the audience, This is a mandated thing by the state that is not funded to us. We have to come up with the funding ourselves.
Any other questions, Mayor?
Let's vote on this.
Any other questions, Mayor, regarding the CIP program? If you look at that first column, 0809, it's pretty much projects that are underway right now and consistent with the direction of the council. And some of these items are actually on the agenda tonight, such as the mitigated neck deck for the dead-end street Phase 2. If not, staff's recommending that you adopt this, and if...
Joe, why don't we go through some of the slides really quickly, and then we'll address...
That was the last slide.
Okay.
For the 0809.
Right. Do we have any pictures of the
Do you have any
projects or
pictures of the
anything,
projects,
Did you do that?
Richard?
I did.
Okay, maybe we can do it next time at the budget
We
workshop.
can do it at the budget hearing. And again, you can, if there happens to be changes in the budget, we can amend the CIP as well, if you want those two documents to be consistent.
Pass this.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to waive for the reading and adopt Resolution 051-2008.
Is there a second?
Need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I've been sitting here digesting all the comments from our community, and I would like to direct the city administrator to meet with the sheriff department and agendize an item regarding the crime stats and sheriff's complaints that we have been getting, and also the Hawaiian Gardens injunction presentation.
Let me get that clear. So you'd like for me to meet with the sheriff's department and propose or agendize an item for a presentation on
the injunction,
on the injunction,
also the crime stats, and the complaints that we have been receiving.
a follow-up to
Yeah, the
any
follow-up.
complaints,
To any of the complaints.
and complaint procedures?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, we would need a consensus from the council
Okay.
to direct the city
Can
administrator.
I get a consensus from the council?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I know, yeah,
We also have a
Can you-
community member on, meet with them also, so there's somebody from
Can you come up, please?
community too.
yeah, we can do that, though.
I really appreciate you responding to our comments. Thank you so much.
just
But what I'm
took a
also
while.
asking is, besides just the city administrator and the sheriff's department, could we also have a community member be present too that isn't involved with the city or the police department? Would that be possible? You know, that'd be somebody from your choosing, but,
Sure.
Yes.
okay? Thank you for adding that.
I just want to make a general comment. I know we have the sheriff's department here in the audience, and, you know, when issues like this come up, it's very difficult because they do have a really tough job, and unfortunately, you know, there's a history, and I know this council is really trying hard to resolve whatever issues are out there, and I know there's a sincere concern for whatever issues you guys are raising, so Sheriff's Department's back there, and I'm sure they'll be ready and willing to work with the residents in the community, and we'll make sure we set something up with them
Okay.
for next council meeting, if that's okay. And I don't know if the Sheriff's Department would like to comment on anything.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor and council members. I want to thank you for inviting us here. After hearing all the citizens' complaints, I am greatly concerned, and for your audience, my name is Christy Guyevich. I am the captain of Lakewood Sheriff Station. Always, any complaints are a great concern to our Sheriff's Department, and we do have a complaint process, so I do welcome anybody to contact Lakewood Sheriff Station. We will take any complaint that you have. If you feel that somebody has been harassed, it is our duty to investigate that and make sure that if the deputies are doing something wrong and performing in a poor manner, then absolutely, I'd like to know about that, and we do need to investigate that. As far as the concerns, we would be happy to meet with you and come back and set up when we have some more time to go over the crime stats, because the crime stats have been improving greatly. In fact, just off the top of my head, assaults are down 44% this year compared to last year. And the deputies are out there, they're really trying. Their job is to enforce the law, but anything that is wrong, anything that they're doing that is against our policy and procedures, I absolutely would like to know about that, and I really ask the community to please come forward, contact the Lakewood Sheriff Station, and make a complaint if you so wish. Contact me. Sergeant Tom Burt is the assigned sergeant for the City of Hawaiian Gardens. He's always available. And I brought lieutenant in charge of the gang unit and the sergeant in charge in case there are any questions about OSS, but we can do that at a later date.
What we'll do, Captain, is schedule an item on a future agenda. We'll clear schedules and calendars and make sure we cover, like the mayor mentioned, some information on the injunction, the crime stats, and the sheriff complaint procedures.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go over all of that. And we did prepare a flyer about the injunction, so we'll be prepared to pass that out at that council meeting as well.
Okay.
Ma'am, the public comment is over. We can't dialogue with this because the council has given a direction to the city administrator to work with the Sheriff's Department, and well, that will be part of the presentation. We're going to have an agenda item which is going to go over all that information, and that's why we would like everybody to be at that agenda at that future council meeting in which all this is going to be considered and presented. So,
thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 2.
Madam Mayor, on item 2A, I understand there are still some things that needed to be done with the budget before it's presented to us, so I would ask that the item be continued until the June 24th, 2008 meeting.
Okay. Is there
Make a motion to that effect.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing, B1, conduct public hearing and adopt resolution number 053-2008 to approve a mitigated negative declaration to connect 226th Street from Arlene Avenue to Pioneer Boulevard. This is a motion to open public hearing.
Motion to open.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, the applicant here is the City of Hawaiian Gardens. This is a public hearing. This is a continuation of the Dead-End Street Phase 1. We have been directed to conduct the Phase 2, which is the opening of the remainder of that street through Pioneer Boulevard. This was an item that was considered at the Planning Commission, and they are recommending approval. We have bought one of the properties there, and that's the fourplex that's all boarded up there in the corner. There is another property that we're buying just north of
Joe,
that.
can you speak a little louder, please?
She can barely hear you.
There's another property that just north of that that we are in escrow, and we're just waiting for the clearance from CDC regarding the environmental review process. But basically, the initial study was conducted, and the initial study found that substantial, that there was basically no adverse impacts and that they were less than significant. However, the consultant felt that being that now we have created more or less a collector street by opening up that entire street, that there may be some traffic circulation, a change in the traffic circulation patterns in that quadrant of the city. So they are recommending that a mitigation measure be imposed, and that is basically upon the completion of the 226th Street extension, the city will monitor the traffic conditions and do some traffic counts and see if there's any adverse impacts that are being created. And if so, we'll bring that back to the council for further consideration. But staff is recommending that you approve this mitigated negative declaration. The reason for the CEQA process is that technically we are creating a new street. So those are not exempt.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Please come forward. None. Any discussion?
Seeing no one?
Seeing no one. Discussion?
Motion to close.
Is that before or after discussion?
No.
Well, you can have discussion now. We haven't voted yet.
She asked if we had anything.
Yeah.
I just have a couple questions. Number one, I see you have a report or letters from the county and the city of Cypress saying they have no objections to us, doing this project. That won't affect them as they see it. Well, what about the city of Long Beach? Have they responded since they are?
The normal process when you do an initial study and you make a finding that there would be some type of an impact, or you make or do the study where you have to circulate a negative declaration, you have to notify everybody within a certain radius, and we have to put an ad in the paper. Those were the only ones that we actually received.
Okay.
We didn't have any problems either with Long Beach when we built the actual Phase 1, which is a much larger project. So I think everybody was happy that we did the dead-end street because we cleaned up that entire area, if you remember what it looked like before.
Yeah. And the other question I have is, it states in here that depending on the engineer's report, we may have to purchase a sliver of Long Beach property
We're not sure yet, depending on the turning radiuses there. This project still needs to be designed.
Okay.
So all we have right now are just concepts. We know that by purchasing the one parcel, that would have not given us adequate turning radius there, so we went ahead and purchased the other parcel. But if we need additional land from Long Beach, it's a small sliver, it wouldn't be much of an impact, and it may or may not be needed. So it's not certain yet till this project is actually fully designed so it can meet certain public works standards.
Okay.
Because all we have right now are concept drawings.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will now make a motion to waive further reading and adopt resolution, what is it? 052, 2008. Is that it?
53.
53, 053, 2008. Lost my place.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 2, conduct public hearing and adopt resolution number 054-2008 to consider requests submitted by Gray Ventures LLC for approval of a tentative parcel map proposing to merge the 12 existing parcels into a single parcel with dedication of land for future road purposes at 22437 Norwalk Boulevard, case number 08-25 TPM.
Motion open.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public hearing's open. Any staff report, please?
Yeah, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this is an item also that went before the Planning Commission just last week. The purpose of that was to basically consolidate the 12 parcels into one. Staff did present the staff report, and the Planning Commission is recommending approval. What they're doing is basically consolidating 12 parcels into one so that they can accommodate a 7,000 square foot medical office building, which is a permitted use. So what you're doing tonight is really just considering the consolidation of the parcels, not necessarily the use itself, because that is an outright permitted use. The second slide here more or less indicates the general location of the property, which is the Don, what we refer to as the Don Armstrong property that's been recently demolished. They had several structures there, and those have been all eliminated, and now I believe they're in escrow, I think, but the property is zoned commercial as well as it has a general plan designation, general commercial, so the two are consistent. The type of development that's being proposed also complies with all minimum development standards. That's what the property looks like today in the upper left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
This is the actual site plan, and the red outline is the building itself. There will be dedication required with this parcel map, as the general plan requires that the right-of-way width on Norwalk Boulevard be increased to 100 feet. Again, it's one of those things that we're probably not going to see in our lifetime, but we have to comply with the general plan requirements and require the dedication, not just on the Norwalk Boulevard, but also on 226th Street. There's a small dedication there as well. This is the elevations of the property. This is what the building looks like. Obviously, it's a more modern-looking building, architecturally articulated to meet all of the design standards of the zoning code. And that's all with the presentation. The applicant is here if you have any questions.
The only thing I'm curious about is, we have, the city bus that takes senior citizens to doctor's appointments and things. And do we have any idea how many actually go to a dialysis clinic elsewhere?
They may have more an idea what the actual usage will be. If we could have the applicant please come to the podium and identify yourself and kind of explain a little bit what the product is, which is a dialysis clinic.
Honorable Mayor, council members, my name is Dave Gilmore. I'm with Gray Ventures. Our address is 1801 Century Park East, Suite 1080, Los Angeles, California. Approximately 70% of the dialysis patients are bused in, and DaVita provides that type of service or arranges for it. There's a huge and growing, unfortunately, demand for dialysis treatments, and that's why you see these clinics being developed throughout Southern California and other areas. And this clinic will serve people in the Hawaiian Gardens and surrounding areas. So people will be bussed in, as I said. The majority of the patients are bussed in and then bussed home after their treatment. Treatment lasts about 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How early are your shifts?
Pardon?
How early is your first shift?
It starts at 8 a.m. and it ends at 10 p.m.
I'm glad to see somebody wanting to do something like that in our city.
Yeah, unfortunately, the demand is just
I know.
huge.
That's very unfortunate.
Yes.
I have family, and our own mayor has to go to dialysis also, so it hits close to home for me.
Any other questions? No. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. A motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We didn't say anything.
What happened to Victor? Oh. Okay, we need a motion to adopt.
Motion to waive for the reading and adopt Resolution 054, 2008.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
My comment would be that, it sounds like a very good project for our community. As you said, I know there's a lot of people that need the service, and I see the concept of the buildings, and it's just going to go a long way towards what we're trying to accomplish with our supplies and rehabilitation programs to beautify the city.
Yeah, it's certainly going to look a lot better than what was there.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Mayor, let the record reflect that it's a 4-0 vote with Councilmember Farfan absent, so.
We have waited.
He's back.
Okay, resolutions. B1, adopt resolution number 055-2008 to approve the preliminary engineer's report for the Consolidated Landscaping and Lighting Assessment District number HGLLA1, declaring the city council's intent to levy an assessment and setting the public hearing date for July 8, 2008. Staff report, please.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this is something that we do every year. The 1972 Landscape and Lighting Act allows this. Prior to the city administering this program, it was administered by the county. Maybe approximately 10 years ago, we requested that the administration of this program be done by the city. All we're doing here tonight is approving the preliminary engineer's report, which more or less the assessments are remaining the same. There are no increases. Everybody in the city pays some type of an assessment for the maintenance and electricity bill of the medians. So it's on everybody's tax bill right now. We're not recommending any changes at the present time. In order to collect these assessments, you have to have an engineer's report analyzed and reviewed every year, and you have to hold a public hearing. So there's a public hearing scheduled for July 8, 2008. So to answer Jim's question, there are no increases, and it's been on everybody's tax bill from 1972.
So it just becomes more or less a housekeeping thing.
It's another one of those housekeeping things that we have to do every year.
Yeah. I'm going to motion to waive further reading, adopt resolution 055, 2008.
Actually, it doesn't even pay for itself. I'm being reminded by Richard, the city has to subsidize it, which has been the case for quite some time. So
I don't recall it ever having cost our people out there in the community anything.
We've never, it's never paid for itself.
Yeah.
And so the city does subsidize it.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? None? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. B2, adopt resolution number 056-2008 to adopt the 2008 five-year pavement management system update. Staff report, please.
This is another one of these items where I'll give a brief presentation, then I'll have Richard, the city engineer, give a presentation on the actual streets that were paved and the ones that are going to be paved in the future. But basically, we've been doing this for the past few years now, and all again thanks to the additional revenue that we have. So the city council has been generous with allocating the additional funds towards the rehabilitation of the various streets. And what this document basically allows you to do is basically have an orderly approach towards prioritizing the streets that are in need of repair. There is, I believe, an attachment to the staff report. It's pretty lengthy and very technical oriented, but I'm going to have Richard go over the PowerPoint presentation. Then it'll pretty much give you a history of the streets that we've done in the past over the various years, ever since we've been allocating approximately $500,000, and then more or less what this new document's going to do. Hold on, Richard, let me get out of this one.
While he's looking for the presentation, Honorable Mayor and council members, this five-year pavement management plan is coming before you. It has come before the, I'm sorry, excuse me, I was on the wrong track. The first slide we see here are the streets that have been recently repaved. Color scheme All of the colored streets here are pavement, streets that have been paved over the last 6-7 years. So these streets are in good condition. Next slide. The pavement in the analysis of the pavement management report, each street is walked and driven for pavement condition. There's a rating system that is very detailed, and then the third column is a PCI, pavement condition index, and each street is given a specific pavement condition index based on the condition of the street, whether it's good, fair, poor, and this is the rating system. It's very technical. Then it's put into a computer database, and it's weighed in as far as how long, how soon it needs to be repaved, how much life there is in the pavement. Pavements generally have about a 20-year life, and when we overlay them with rubberized asphalt like we're doing in this city, we're getting 15 to 20 years of additional life of that street, because pavement naturally dries out in the top surface of the street. Asphalt is a flexible material. It's made to take some flex of the traffic loading, but as the oils dry out near the surface from the sun and weather, it dries out and it needs to be reconditioned every 15, 20 years. And on some residential streets and parking lots, they need to be slurry sealed to waterproof the surface on about a 7-year basis.
A question, one question I was wondering about, I know we don't get the severe weather here that we get like when I was living in Arkansas and Oklahoma and everything, but on the streets out there on the asphalt and everything, they had an underlay of a material before they laid the asphalt to allow for the stretching and during the summer months, the heat problem and everything. Have we ever considered that, what the cost would be if we tried that, or if that would prolong the life?
All of our major streets have aggregate base under them to the tune of 6 to 10 inches in Southern California, sometimes 18 inches of crushed aggregate base that can be really compacted. And then the top surface varies on residential streets from 2.5, 3 inches to 6, 7, 8 inches on maybe Carson Street that has a lot more traffic. The more traffic volume, the more truck volume, the thicker the pavement section. Plus the underlying soils aren't too bad here in that they are fairly granular. They are silty and a little bit of clay, but in some areas where they're very, very silty, they need much greater thickness. Now, in the old days, the residential streets didn't always have crushed aggregate base, but most of our streets have crushed rock underneath, and we compact the ground below the rock when we redo a street. We compact the ground. If we do total reconstruction, we recompact the sub-base, then we put in a rock base and compact that to 90% plus, 95% relative compaction, and then we lay the asphalt. So, yeah, there's several layers to that pavement thickness. And the next slide shows all of the blue streets are indicating in the 85 to 100% pavement condition index. Those are basically the recently overlaid streets. The blue, the purples, the two purple shades are in the good to very good to excellent condition. The green is in fair condition, the green streets, and the orange, yellow, orange, and red are in the poor condition. So those are the ones we're targeting. Next slide, please. Okay, these show the strategies of repayment, the pavement repair strategies, and these are showing the streets that are in need of additional work here in the near future over the next 5 years. Next slide. And then these show arterial highways that are in fair to needing help. We do have Norwalk Street south of Carson on our arterial that is in need of help. And then you see on the upper right Bloomfield Avenue, which is scheduled to be in the pavement overlay and median project that's this year carrying over into next year for construction. And that's going to go after the underground electric district. That's why that's been delayed a little bit. So our arterial streets are in pretty good shape. And the final slide these are the streets that we are proposing to overlay generally over the next 5 years with, it's a little hard to see, with the blue slide. The blue streets are the next year's pavement management streets that we're proposing to overlay. Pink is 2009, 2010. Yellow, or the gold, 2010, 2011. Purple, 11 and 12. And orange in 12, 13. Now, generally, we've been allocating about $500,000 to road repaving, and about $400,000 of that goes to the actual resurfacing of the roadway, and about $50,000 goes to repairs and maintenance and upgrades to the sidewalk and the ADA ramps, and this keeps us out of trouble on the ADA. It's our annual work on the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, to upgrade the ADA ramps. And Public Works also has had some funds to expend on sidewalk repairs that kind of pop up and become problem areas, so there's additional funding there that's not accommodated in this budget. And then the other $50,000 is for the management and of the program as well. And if we continue on with about $500,000 per year allocation, we should be keeping our streets in good shape and keeping ahead of the game as far as not losing ground on keeping our streets our important asset.
So we're recommending that basically you adopt the pavement management system. When we do get the allocation on a yearly basis, we will still come to the City Council for final direction in approving the streets that we are that are being requested to be overlaid or slurry sealed, and then we still go through the whole plans and specification process. So it'll still come before you for one last chance, one last review in case there's a change. But more or less, this is what they're recommending at the present time from Willdan.
I might add that we're also currently under construction on our 708 streets right now, so you'll see some sidewalk repair going on, and in the month of June, you will see some overlays occurring.
Thank goodness we are a small enough city to take care of all of it for them.
And I just want to point out that this money, this $500,000 is not coming from the general fund, correct? This is gas tax money.
Most of it, it varies from year to year, but for the most part, we've been fortunate enough, David's been buying CDBG money as the money's available out there, so I believe we buy 60 cents on a dollar, Dave?
Yes.
So we end up making money. Okay. But being that CDBG, you can use CDBG money, which is that's an eligible expense to pave the roads. So, for example, if you can get $1 worth of work for only 60 cents.
Right.
So just imagine, in the thousands of dollars, the amount of work we can do. So we can get more mileage out of that and be able to do plenty of roads.
Good.
All right, motion to waive further reading, adopt resolution 056, 2008.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adopt resolution number 057-2008 to award a contract to AmeriNational Community Service, Inc. to provide escrow services for the city's housing rehabilitation program. Staff report.
This is another item that we do every so often, and I know I'm going to elaborate on some of the comments that were made in the public or in the audience tonight. This is not something new that we're doing. We've been doing this for 20, 30 years now, and what this basically allows us to do is when you're doing loans of a great magnitude, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000, you need somebody out there to be the referee and provide escrow services. That's not something that we're going to handle inside. We're not using this service for the most part when you're doing a $10,000 beautification program or a $5,000 grant. That's more or less handled internally. But when you're doing the big CDBG projects, we usually contract with an escrow company to handle those services. And that's basically it. So we did go through an RFP process. 2 companies did submit a proposal. However, one of them was not responsive to the specifications, so we are recommending that we go AmeriNational. The increase is very minimal. So staff's recommending you approve Resolution 57-2008.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to waive further reading and adopt Resolution 057, 2008.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 4, adopt resolution number 058, 2008, to approve 6 applications for the sale of Safe and Sane fireworks and fireworks stands in the city of Hawaiian Gardens for the year 2008 Independence Day celebration. Staff report, please.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, you have before you a resolution of 6 applicants. The city, according to the municipal code, has conducted the required investigation of the applicants that have submitted their application, and we find that, the city clerk's office finds that the applicants are in compliance with the requirements of the municipal code, and we are recommending approval and that the permits be issued in accordance with the code book. Just briefly to answer a comment made previously, we do have a standard list of conditions as part of the resolution, and it's attachment B, and there's a specific section, section 4, which addresses the setup and tear down of the actual fireworks stands, and it does regulate that the setup shall only take place between 8 and 7 p.m. The fireworks cannot be placed on the site until all the approvals have been met, and the earliest date would be for this year, Friday, June 20th, no earlier than 8 a.m. And it does regulate that the stands do have to be taken down no later than July 8th by noon. That concludes our presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So then we do have verbiage in there that states it's a definite hour, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
That's correct.
No earlier, no later.
Right.
Okay, so we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on that this year. Jim, if you have that happen, call City Hall, let them know.
We have had in the past, we have had stands that have exceeded the time that is conditioned for them to be open, and staff has gone out and let them know that they're exceeding their time and they have closed down.
Is there any type of fines or penalties associated if they don't meet the conditions?
Since I've been here, we've never had to fine anybody. Usually, it's just, somebody that is not aware of all the conditions, but for the most part, we've always had compliance. It's never not been a problem in the past. We will mention it, and we will send out a letter that they will be enforced. It is part of the municipal code, and it is regulated.
Okay.
Lucy, what day are they, did you say again, they're going to put up the stands?
The stands, June 20th is the earliest, which is a Friday, and they must be taken down by Tuesday, July 8 at 12 noon.
Okay, thank you.
And we do recommend approval of Resolution 058.
Okay, and actual sale is allowed to begin when? Actual sale of fireworks?
I believe, let me check that. Sales by July 1st at noon.
July
and-
1st at noon.
Right, and they end on July 4th at 9
Okay.
p.m.
That gives them ample time to bring in a budge. Okay. All right, based on that, I'm going to move to adopt Resolution 058, 2008.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
I have one question. It doesn't really pertain to the approval, but it's about the enforcement of the illegal fireworks. Last year, we all know that the enforcement on 4th of July was non-existent. So I would like to ask when you have the meeting with the police, that you discuss, the contingency plans for enforcing the illegal fireworks this year, because it was quite disturbing to a lot of people.
Mayor and council members, I actually met with the Sheriff's Department last week, and there is plans to do a full firework enforcement for the 2 weeks, a week before and a week after the 4th of July, so they will be out there in force. All our special assignment team will be focused on fireworks suppression this year.
I do have to also state that when we had Tony here, he did come by my place and pop the trunk of his car and showed me all the illegals they had confiscated. But unfortunately, it was just he and Anita out there trying to patrol it and everything and catch all the culprits and everything. And of course, they see a black and white coming, they're off and gone. So, but they were fortunate enough to be able to confiscate a trunk load. They couldn't hardly get the trunk closed. And they were fined, those that they could catch.
Right, and there was something in the newsletter, and there's a link on the webpage, I believe, also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, you have to wear hard hats and all the protective gear you can wear out there, because when I see them shooting those things off, they're going everywhere.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 5, adopt resolution number 059-2008 to set the appropriation limitations in the City of Hawaiian Gardens for fiscal year 2007 to 2008. Staff report, please.
Honorable Mayor, City Council members, this is another agenda need to be visited every year. It's a little bit late. We are talking about the 2007-2008 gas limitation. The Constitution Article 8B, as amended by the Proposition 111, requires the local jurisdictions to establish appropriation limit for each fiscal year. This limit the amount of revenue that can be appropriated in any fiscal year to the proceeds of taxes. To put into a nutshell, if you have the staff report, please turn to the next page. It will be easier to understand what that means. Our appropriation limit for the year is $13,315,133, which means if we collected taxes above and beyond that, we cannot spend those money. And during the good times, California collects a lot of taxes, and there's an appropriation limit by the Constitution, and then at that time, California rebate those taxes to the taxpayers. Based on the calculation here, our appropriation subject to limit is $1,765,000. So we are not limited by this limitation. So all the taxes we collected, we can spend it. So someday when we receive our taxes above and beyond $30 million, those money needs to be refunded to the residents. So far, we are fine. So staff recommend to pass the resolution number 59.
I'm going to move way further reading, adopt resolution number 059, 2008.
Second.
Any discussion? None?
Well,
go ahead.
Just a clarification, just for, so this $13 million what we cannot exceed, that comes from money that's collected from other sources other than taxes. Is that correct?
$13 million is a standard.
Okay.
Based on our population income, starting from when the Constitution was started to set, adjusted by the population increase and the inflation. So right now it's at $30 million.
Okay.
And our limit is that, and we cannot collect taxes above and beyond that. If that is the case, then we cannot spend those money.
Okay. Yeah. But and as you say, we're 11 million below that in taxes that we collect, so we're fine.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
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 Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6, adopt resolution number 060-2008 to approve pre-issue warrants and regular warrants in the amount of $536,077.24. Staff report. No, I need a motion.
No, need one on that. I'm going to move to approve.
Okay. Second.
Need a second?
Oh, no, we need a roll call vote.
Yes, we do.
Councilmember Herkiman?
Yes.
Councilmember Farfan?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Schultz?
Yes.
Mayor Canada?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Item C1, discussion item, mayor's reappointment of John R. Murray and James Muse to the Planning Commission for a term to expire in May 2012. Staff report.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, the two Planning Commission terms that have expired as of May 2008 were for Commissioner John Murray and James Muse. Both commissioners have shown interest to continue remaining on the Planning Commission. If you do reappoint them, it would be for a 4-year term ending May 2012.
Okay. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
No.
None?
We're doing fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, C2, an update of the construction activity of the Library and Public Safety Center project. Staff
Yes,
report.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, as you know, staff had directed us on this project. Our city engineer's been very involved in more or less acting as a project manager. He's going to give you a brief update on the activities that are going out there, and then I'll show you some slides and show you the actual construction activity that's going on there.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I feel the great privilege to tell you about our library project that is going on quite well. We have had a few surprises opening up the roof system on the building and the air conditioning system on the building, and we've had to totally redo the AC system. We were trying to save a couple of the duct areas and the AC units, and actually we had, the roof was in such bad condition that water had leaked through to the lightweight concrete roof deck and actually had corroded the roof metal plate structure. So we had to do repairs underneath each of the AC units. And so we've had a few issues come up to add some cost to the construction. We are, however, running about 7 to 8% of construction overage of the original construction amount. The original proposal by PCN3, you'll recall, was about $3.25 million, and we are going to stay within about 7% of their cost budget. We allocated $350,000 additional funds for furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and we are about $17,000 under budget on that amount. And we allocated $100,000 for computers, IT, security, and alarm systems improvements. And we are putting 38 computers in the second floor for a new computer lab facility and a computer in our community room to run PowerPoints with a projector and screen like you see here, but not quite this big. And for both of those two rooms. And we're going to put computers in the sheriff's offices. No, I'm sorry. The sheriff's department got new computers, so they're going to be moving their computers over, so that's good news.
Oh.
And they're going to be putting their IT system in. And Ernesto, our city administrator, and I met with the county library staff, and they decided that they were going to bring the computers over from the existing facility, and in exchange for some utility payments, because we can't really separate the utilities out without a lot of additional cost. The first floor is our library. The second floor is our public safety center and our computer classroom. in our community room, and we can't separate the utilities out without paying about $40,000 or $50,000 of additional monies of rework to pull and separate the systems apart. So they're going to provide all the computers for the first floor, and that'll be their equipment. But we're providing new cantilevered book stacks for the first floor, and we've got a new circulation desk, and we've got state-of-the-art. We spent about $60,000 on library scanners and equipment to make the book check-in and check-out process a lot smoother with self-check scanners, 2 self-check scanners, etc. So it'll be a really nice facility when we get finished here. Now, schedule-wise, we are about 3 weeks behind on our first floor. We were supposed to have the first floor complete because the county originally told us they needed about 2 months to pack up their old library facility location and box it up, bring it over, and start installing it. So June 1st was the first floor deadline. We've got behind because of our roof structure and a few other issues. But we've got the book stacks and a lot of the first floor furniture coming in on June 23rd through July 4th, excuse me. And then July 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, the county will be able to move in with their facilities. They're indicating about a 6-week move-in period through July and the first half of August. And right now we're about 2 weeks behind on the overall project completion, which was scheduled for August 1st. It's currently scheduled for about August 15th. So it looks like you can probably plan for a grand opening around mid-September, but we should have a soft opening around the mid to late August, depending on how the county facilities get moved in and how.
I know there's a lady sitting in our audience. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yes. Yes.
And I feel the same way, and I apologize for everything you've had to go through up to this point. But unfortunately, as he stated, we did run into some unexpected things. But you're going to have a beautiful facility when it's finished.
Yes, but it does look like that I'm not going to have to ask for any more funds. So
great.
That's good news.
Oh, thank God.
Let's hope so, but we are within our 10%. As authorized by the City Council. But in the first slide here, as you can see, there's been some extensive renovation of the facade. There's stacked stone. That is actually real stone, not culture stone, and we had to go with the real thing because of the fountain that's going to be installed on the east side of the wall. You see some of those, was there a Mexican fan palm trees, which have been cut, and there's cones on them now, but those will be replaced with date palms. There's also some construction activity with the new fence and wrought iron fence that will be installed, and the elevator was already there, so that's already an advantage for us. This is some of the interior ductwork that's taking place. It's getting a whole new drop ceiling and a lot of interior TI work, basically. You really can't see a lot of activity on the outside, but on the inside, there's just a lot of activity with a lot of conduits, a lot of wiring, a lot of duct work, a lot of lighting and drop ceiling. This is the underneath of the second floor. Again, there's all the plumbing work right there. This is an aerial shot from the roof. There's some guys there working on the stack stone that's being installed around the pillars where the fencing is going to be installed. Again, some very intense duct work there. This is the inside of I believe, the second floor where the sheriff office will be. Drywall's already up as it's taking shape. Some more interior work. The blue wire is your Cat 5. There's a lot of Cat 5 wiring running around all over the building for your computers and telecommunications. More electrical work. And this is the upstairs. This is the top roof. There's new air conditioning units, new asphalt. It's going to be rolled out. So there was a lot of TI work done in this building. It's not as easy as it looked, and obviously the dollar amount reflects that. Not a cheap project, but it'll be well worth it at the end, as it will eliminate that monthly payment that we've been making for years, which this will help offset those costs. It's closer detail of the pillars. That's the side view on Carson Street. And obviously, there will be very intense landscaping that will complement this. And that completes the presentation.
Good. Yeah, it's sad they had to gut the entire inside, but when they got going and found out that there was more extensive damage inside the place than we realized, and, geez, I don't think that thing had been touched and done anything good on it since it was built.
The final project will serve our community and our children.
Mm-hmm. And I love the location. It's a much safer area, plenty of parking, well lit. So, plus the fact you're going to have the sheriffs upstairs too. So it's going to be safe.
Thank you. Okay. I need a motion.
Motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we had it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Presentation of minutes, May 27th, 2008, special joint meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? None. All in favor?
Aye.
May 27th, 2008, regular meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion?
God, we're almost finished with this.
None. All in favor?
Aye.
E, closed session.
None, Madam Mayor.
F, new business. G, oral staff reports.
We have a couple. Just a reminder to the council and the community, with school letting out for the summer next week, the Human Services Department has numerous programs available for them to participate in. Just to touch on a few very briefly, the summer lunch program, we're offering this program at 7 sites throughout the city. The swimming pool will be open for the summer. We have youth sports available. We have recreation with extended hours at Lee Ware, Clarkdale, the C. Robert Lee Center, which includes the Teen Center, movies and concerts in the park. And all this information is available in the city newsletter as well as the website, or they can call the Human Services Department for more information.
Thank you. Oral council reports.
Mayor, we have,
still have another report.
Honorable Mayor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, we just wanted to share, we've been receiving through the mail various thank yous to the city, and particular to the council from the different elementary schools, thanking you for funding their various programs like the camp program. We have letters from the children, lots of thank you notes and cards, and they'll be posted on display next month.
Okay, thank you.
Honorable Mayor, just a couple brief notes on a couple items, but I needed to touch on one item that I forgot to bring up during the AmeriNational. That is that once in a while you'll see on the warrants monies that are going out to certain individuals. They may or may not work here. Just because they're employees of the city, they're not exempt from having to apply for the rehab program. So as long as they don't have anything to do with the program, they're eligible to apply for certain programs, such as the beautification program, or it may be the commercial rehab program, or whatever program it may be. So they are not exempt just because they work here. However, if you have decision-making authority, such as in the management, upper management, they're not allowed, as well as council members. We're not allowed to apply for the program should we own homes. So employees are entitled to apply for those programs as long as they have nothing to do with the program. Also, we're modifying one of the code enforcement officers' schedule. There will be code enforcement Saturday and Sunday, full-time. So that's been already arranged. Also, the GPAC committee has met this week, and that may have been their last meeting, as we now have a final draft of the general plan. So there is a community meeting that's been set up for June 18 at 7 o'clock p.m. here in the council chambers, and I made sure that everybody in the community has been notified. As you know, in the past, we've always gotten complaints that they didn't get flyers or they weren't notified, so we went really out of our way, and it was money well spent, because this is a long-term general plan. There's going to be a lot of changes in the general plan that may or may not affect the community members. And depending on the outcome of the community meeting, like I said, that may be their last, that was their last meeting. However, there's a second component to the general plan, and that is the adoption of a new zoning code, or really more of an amendment, so that we can make the new zoning code consistent with the general plan. And so I'll be coming back asking you that you appoint the same members for the most part for the zoning code update as well, since they're very in tune with what was going on with the general plan. And that completes the staff report on my end.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Oral council reports? Do we have another?
I'd just like to ask Steve if you could comment on the 4th of July program we have coming up.
Yes, the Independence Day celebration is scheduled for Sunday, June 29th at Fetty Middle School from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. The professional fireworks show is scheduled to begin shortly after 8 p.m. We have numerous activities planned for the day for the community, organized picnic-style games, volleyball, water balloon toss, in addition to various food booths and entertainment as well. And there is information on the website. We do have flyers that will be distributed to the schools, as well as the very nice Boulevard banner that's up on Norwalk.
Okay. I'll bet you we'll be better attended this year since we're having the fireworks.
And do you have a program listing of the entertainment like we did at the carnival?
Yes, those will be, actually they're being made this evening, they were being made, and we'll be getting them tomorrow and posting them throughout the community.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to add one more thing, about the subject of all the comments today. Obviously, that's an emotional item, and we're sitting here and really we felt it best maybe not to comment, because people are speaking from the heart, and what can you tell them? Everybody's had incidences or experiences, and we can't say anything really about it. We weren't there, and we just try to understand. And really, on my first day here, I commented that my belief was our most important job is to provide for the safety of our residents. And if people, I think people, for the most part, people were saying that the injunction has done good. The bad guys have been picked up, and there's been good, and unfortunately, there's been incidences where, people, maybe, possibly injustices have been done. I don't know. But there is a remedy for it, and I'm sure that will be discussed and brought to their attention. And so I just want to apologize to anybody, for things that happened to them that weren't deserved, and let you know that nobody wants somebody to be arrested, for something they didn't do or harassed or anything, and neither do the police officers. But things that happen in the heat of the moment, that's part of the job, and we'll just try to rectify it as best we can.
I just want to bring something up, but unfortunately it doesn't have anything to do with what Mike brought up. And this is more in lines of, in terms of beautification within the city, pride of ownership. I know the city's trying to go in that direction, in which we're trying to improve the overall image as well as the aesthetics of the city. So I was thinking, maybe we should have some type of, I don't know, maybe quarterly by quarterly, just in terms of recognizing maybe homeowners who have put efforts or, put some effort into their homes to try to keep it aesthetically pleasing, and encourage maybe others, within the city to try to, better their home. So I know other cities have it, and maybe it's just something that we could incorporate in our city, just to encourage it.
bring that up, we have somebody working on that right now.
Great.
Create an award program for those
Good.
Residents that actually do keep their properties, do maintain their properties. And so the staff is working on that right now, as well as we're looking into expanding and seeing what opportunities are there for some type of volunteer program for disabled or handicapped people that, as far as the code enforcement program, because we do run into that from time to time where we have a property that is in very need of disrepair or it's very unsightly or blighted, and we run into situations where they're elderly and they can't do any of the work. Well, we're not asking them to do any of the work. We're just saying, let's get somebody there and do it, and we'll pay for it. So we're trying to find some type of program to address that.
Great.
And also looking at some type of award program for those people that are actually doing and making a difference in the community and making this a better, livable community.
Yeah.
I'm glad my colleague brought that up because I remember that Downey is one of those cities that has that award thing, and they have a big sign to display on the property that people driving by can see, and it's another form of pride.
Yeah.
Another form of pride.
I believe the city of Linwood also has something, a program similar to that, so.
Lakewood, too.
Yeah. So I think it'd be great to implement within our city. And then another thing that was brought up to me in regards is one of our fellow commissioners, and he indicated that I guess at one particular time, commissioners who maybe served 5 or 10 plus years on the commission were recognized, at least given some type of award. I know sometimes it's often difficult to get the participation from the residents, so I think it'd probably be a good idea to recognize those individuals, who have been on those particular commissions for quite some time. So just something small, luncheon or something, just to say thanks, show our gratitude. So.
Yeah, a little longevity award because it has been difficult for us in the past to even get residents to want to participate in any of the commissions.
Yeah.
So
that's all I have.
Anyone else? I just want to mention that the council went to Indian Wells on a conference, and the conference was based on green, 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 which is conserving water. We heard a lot of cities and what they're doing, and I know we've accomplished some of the things. They were talking about using recyclable bags, canvas bags to go shopping, to the community to be careful and washing cars down because everything ends up in the ocean. And we learned a lot. I know a city administrator's assistant took some notes down, and I'm sure we're going to implement some of the small items that we did hear about. I think one of them was like our agenda to make it two-sided instead of one, which would be saving paper. We heard a lot about this, and it's coming from the state. So I just wanted to let you know what we were doing in Indian Wells.
the funny thing about that is that the first two or three meetings I went to, and I says, well, let's see. Okay, now tell me something that we haven't, as a city, already started to implement 2 or 3 years ago. So we were on, way ahead of the game there. But there were some other items that did come before us, and were interesting to hear about, and hopefully we can, like the two-sided thing, that works.
I should have reported that we've been approached by Grid Alternatives, which is a company that specializes in solar energy, and they're trying to target the certain dwelling units that are low income, and we checked with HCD and CDC to make sure that that was an eligible item, and it is because of energy efficiency. So we're going to be creating a program utilizing existing CDBG money to be able to install solar energy systems on low-income housing units, and perhaps, I know it was mentioned at one of the council meetings, analyzing the city's current consumption, and they'll want to look at the electric bill and see if there's a way to save money on that by installing solar panels, because in the long run, you'll get that money offset from the cost of the installation.
Well, I can tell you from firsthand account, my brother had a house out in Paris that was solar powered, okay? He saved a bunch of money on his utility bills, a bunch of money. In fact, his electrical bill and everything was practically nil. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll adjourn to the next regular city council meeting to be held on Tuesday, June 24th, 2008 at 6 p.m. Okay, we'll call to order Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, June 10th, 2008. Please turn off pagers and cell phones during the meeting. Okay, roll call, please.
Director Heckerman?
Here.
Director Farfan?
Here.
Director Gomez?
Here.
Vice Chair Member Schultz? Here. Chair Member Canada?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Oral communications, items on and not on agenda. This is a time reserved for members of the audience wishing to speak on agenda items on and not on agenda. This period will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Maximum time allocated is 15 minutes. Seeing no one, will continue.
Madam Chair, before we start the agenda, the city attorney would like to walk the council through a couple steps on an agenda item that we're going to ask to take off calendar and to add a closed session item as a subsequent need item, if you will. Under E in closed session, the current closed session is conference with real property negotiators. When we get to that item, I would ask that the redevelopment agency to make a motion to take that item off calendar.
Could you let us know when, because I'm missing page 3 here.
You're missing, okay.
Yeah, we all are.
We're all missing page 3. When we get to page 3, I'll let you.
I hope someone has page 3. Oh, thank you so much. Maybe our mayor should have it. She's the one who's going to have to. Do you have page 3?
Yes.
Oh, well, good.
Okay.
All right, we'll share.
Okay.
But in the event we do get to page 3, the closed session that's on there, we will ask the agency to take that item off calendar. And we would like to add a closed session item, so we will need a vote right now to put that in there in its place under E. And the closed session is conference with legal counsel under Government Code Section 54956. It would be anticipated litigation, and the number of matters would be 1. And this occurred after the agenda went out, but before the Planning Commission agency. So what I need from the agency right now is to add that item to the agenda under E.
Move to add.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And then when we do get to that, we'll make the motion to take that off calendar.
Take that, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, where was I? Okay, public hearing, conduct public hearing, adopt resolution number 2008-015 to approve the budget for fiscal year 2008-2009.
Where are we at on that? Oh, that's the one we need to,
We need to.
move to remove, or to continue until the 24th. I'm sorry, it's getting late.
Okay, you're making the motion, Councilman Ackerman. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? None. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Resolution B1, adopt resolution number 2008-016 to award a contract to American National Community Service, Inc. to provide escrow services for the city's commercial rehabilitation program. Staff report.
Honorable Chairperson and members of the board, this is a similar item that was presented at the City Council meeting. Staff's recommending that you award the contract to AmeriNational.
Move waive further reading and adopt resolution 2008-016.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. B2, adopt resolution number 2008-017 to approve $179,472 in commercial rehabilitation assistance for the rehabilitation of 22203 Norwalk Boulevard, and authorizing staff to proceed in accordance with the established commercial rehabilitation program guidelines. Staff report, please.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson and members of the Redevelopment Agency, this is one of the many commercial rehabs that we've been working on, which is the El Tigre Market. The prior council had previously approved a few concept drawings, and the one that we're going to be presenting tonight is the one that we worked off and basically gave the architect the time to come up with the actual plans and specifications, and they went out to bid, and the bid results are in. And basically, the applicant is recommending that they go with bidder number 2, as bidder number 1 was not responsive. There's a pretty big gap there. And we did analyze those bids, so they were not responsive. Quite a few items were missing, so they're requesting that we award a bid to number 2, which is the Strikers Construction Group. The total construction cost is $224,000. As you know, we have an 80-20 split. The 80% is paid by the redevelopment agency, 20% is paid by the property owner. I'm just going to go through a series of slides so you can more or less see what we're going to be doing, but this property's been in these conditions for quite a long time. There are a lot of issues here that we see here from the front facade that are no longer consistent with the current general plan guidelines, and I mean the 1994, so that's how far back this thing outdates itself, and the current zoning code with the overhead signage and architectural articulation that is non-existent. This is a side view. There's many signs throughout the property here. No screening of the mechanical equipment above. This is the back view. Chain link fences no longer allowed, and et cetera. The trash enclosure requiring trash enclosure.
Joe, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, and the asphalt is in need of repair. This is what the new design is going to look like. This is what the prior council had approved, and based on that, we had the plans prepared by a qualified architect, and we're ready to proceed.
Joe, is there any plans for any type of maybe greenery? Is there any?
It was difficult to work with the existing current layout. There's hardly any room for it because of circulation problems.
Right.
There's hardly any room there in the front, as the property is right there on the PL. There's hardly any room on the side as well. And the type of building that they have requires that number of parking spaces. We were hoping that we can do something in conjunction with the neighboring parcel that's family-owned as well. But no cooperation at this point. And then between the two products, we'd be able to do something in conjunction there.
Is that the Walsh property?
Yes. That's his brother.
So kind of to reiterate, the purpose behind us with the facade program is, I mean, my understanding is kind of to bring it up to kind of code, to bring it up to date. I mean, it looks like it's...
As you know, we have the redevelopment agency exists for a certain purpose, and that is to eliminate blight and create a more attractive community and create a more viable community. And as you can see, we're dealing with structures down on the south part of Carson Street that is more or less stagnant and underutilized. So this is one example. There was a lot of activity going through this market, so it was worthwhile rehab in this one, as long as we have other ones in that general vicinity. There's the liquor store across the street, and of course, we're still trying to go after the Walsh property and rehabbing that property, along with the Vita project and the bingo and the car wash project or not. We're trying to revitalize that area.
I think at the same token, we're trying to create some type of uniformity between, just the buildings that we have in the city.
Correct.
So I think it's a great idea. I'm glad we're doing it. In addition to that, I think, hopefully it brings in, a little bit more revenue for the city, potentially. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's the other reason why we're doing these types of projects, because people are more prone to come into an establishment that's well built and designed like this as compared to what the existing conditions are. So it's all a part of the economic development component that we're trying to focus on now. So, and in order to get a return, obviously there has to be some type of investment, and the city has a generous program for these owners, and got to understand too, most of these owners are mom and pop operations, and they don't have $200,000 to invest. So as a stimulus and a catalyst, the city, I think, is being responsive and providing these programs that will hopefully in the long run give us a better return for our investment. So.
And there is proof out there too, because other cities have done this and improved the buildings, the facades, and so on and so forth, and guess what? Business picked up considerably, exponentially, because of the way it looked. Now they like shopping there. Before, it was too run down for them, they didn't want to go in the place.
Yeah, I want to reiterate too, that is the objective, to improve the site and generate more taxes. You make the business look better, they get more business, they pay more taxes to the city. And more than likely, they employ, maybe they don't live in the city, but they employ people who live in the city. So it's a win-win. I mean, we have to go forward. We can't sit in the dark and just let our city deteriorate. Otherwise, we still have dirt roads. So this is important that we make improvements, and obviously we're going to make the city more attractive, and hopefully we're going to draw in other businesses that will open up and do the same.
Every city has a project or a program of this nature, but not every city has a casino.
Yeah, thank God for our casino. And I still remember those dirt roads. I lived here then. What fun.
And the other thing to consider too is that, not only are we helping out, the business owners, but really what you're doing is you're creating a more inviting environment and a much better perception to the general public out there. Someone driving by, wow, look, the city's actually investing in their community and taking more pride in doing so. So that's extremely important.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I think it shows progress, and that's what we want to see. I think that's people that necessarily aren't residents of the community, that drive through Hawaiian Gardens could say, wow, look, they're making a difference.
Changes.
Progress is happening. So that's what we want.
I think some of you received feedback at the conference from even other council members and vendors regarding the city and all the activity going on. So.
Well, even today, my daughter came down from Victorville to take me to Father's Day lunch and everything, and she commented on the way over there. She says, boy, this place is really looking different and looking good. It's really, So, from wherever they come from, I noticed that there's been changes here in Hawaiian Gardens, and we're getting more people into it, hopefully.
Because even people that have moved away and have returned, they've made comments to me about how improved the city is and how much nicer it looks. So, there are few other buildings that could use rehab. And I know this Tigris Market really needs a rehab. It's been like this since I moved here. So.
Well, the latest photograph we showed was an improvement over what it was just a year ago,
So. Okay. Is there need a motion in this?
Did we make a motion?
Second.
Okay.
Yay! You made one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That resolution number 2008-018 to approve pre-issue warrants and regular warrants in the amount of $17,868.95.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Director Farfan?
Yes.
Director Gomez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Member Schultz?
Yes.
Chairmember Canada?
Yes. Discussion item, presentation of minutes, May 27, 2008, special joint meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May 27, 2008, regular meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business? None? Okay. Closed session?
Yes, Madam Chair, again, if we can get a motion from the agency to take this particular matter off calendar, and you've already put the other one on.
Motion to take this one off calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. F, oral staff reports?
We have none at this time.
No. Oral agency reports? No. Okay, we'll recess to the community, the public housing.
Should have blown them away.
Carmen?
Yeah, since there is a shift change, I'm going to...
What's your name, buddy?
You want my cane?
Tell you, got a little hairy.
Gotta have that every once in a while.
Yeah, been a long night, huh?
No, I can't push it. Here you go, push it. I got you. Have a seat and I'll slide you. Okay. More? I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Call to order the Public Housing Authority meeting, Tuesday, June 10th, 2008. Roll call, please.
Director Ackerman? Director Farfan?
Oh, I
Here.
think we should wait. Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know they left. We're taking a few minutes recess here.
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 Vice Chair Member Schultz?
Here?
Chairmember Canada?
Here.
I'm sorry.
No, you forgot to.
Yes, and welcome
All
back.
this time, I'm here.
I'm sorry, you have the floor.
Yes, and welcome back to our Director Mahar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Communications, items only on the agenda. This is a time reserved for members of the audience wishing to speak on agenda items. This period will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Maximum time allocated is 15 minutes. Seeing no one. A discussion item. This must be the,
A1?
yeah.
That's That's public hearings.
Public hearing.
Motion to continue this item till June 24th.
Oh, that's that one. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent calendar, presentation of minutes, May 27, 2008, special joint meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May 27, 2008, regular meeting.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We will adjourn to the next meeting to be held on Tuesday, June 24, 2008, at 6 p.m.
Okay. Now we close session.
Do you want to mention?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Members of the City Council, the Redevelopment Agency did conduct a duly authorized closed session under Government Code Section 54956, conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation. There was one matter which the discussed. No action was taken at this time to require publication. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. We may adjourn to the next meeting, June 24th, 2008, at 6 o'clock.